Ladies and gentlemen, respect is not something we are given, it is something we earn. And just as we can build it through integrity and wisdom, we can also lose it through careless habits. No matter how talented, intelligent, or successful you are, if you indulge in behaviors that erode trust and admiration, you will find yourself isolated and disregarded. A person who speaks more than they listen often believes they are demonstrating intelligence, authority, or charm. However, the opposite is usually true. Talking excessively without allowing others to contribute can create the impression of arrogance, self-centeredness, or insecurity. The ability to listen is a rare and valuable skill that conveys respect, wisdom, and confidence. Those who fail to cultivate this skill often find themselves losing respect from peers, colleagues, and even close friends. When someone dominates a conversation, they deny others the opportunity to express themselves. People naturally appreciate being heard, and when they feel ignored, they begin to withdraw. Over time, this can lead to resentment and disinterest. No one enjoys interacting with someone who only values their own voice. It signals that they consider their thoughts more important than others, which can make those around them feel insignificant. This habit creates a one-sided dynamic in conversations, where the speaker takes all the space and leaves nothing for the listener. Such an imbalance is neither enjoyable nor sustainable. Moreover, speaking excessively often leads to unnecessary mistakes. The more one speaks, the higher the chance of saying something careless, inaccurate, or regrettable. Words spoken in haste can damage relationships, create misunderstandings, and expose weaknesses. People who lack restraint in their speech often reveal too much about their personal thoughts, plans, or emotions, leaving themselves vulnerable to judgment or manipulation. A person who cannot control their words risks being perceived as unreliable, thoughtless, or even foolish. Listening, on the other hand, demonstrates self-discipline and emotional intelligence. It shows an individual's ability to control their impulses and prioritize understanding over the need to be heard. A good listener makes others feel valued, which strengthens relationships and builds trust. When a person listens intently, they gain insight into the perspectives, emotions, and concerns of those around them. This understanding allows them to respond more thoughtfully, making their words more impactful when they do speak. In contrast, those who constantly talk without listening miss out on valuable information and often respond without fully grasping the situation. A major reason some people talk too much is the desire to prove their knowledge or importance. They may believe that by speaking frequently, they will be seen as intelligent or capable. However, the reality is that wisdom is often associated with restraint. The most respected individuals do not feel the need to constantly assert themselves. Instead, they speak only when necessary and do so with precision. Their words carry weight because they are measured and deliberate. When someone who rarely speaks finally shares their thoughts, people listen because they know it will be meaningful. Conversely, those who talk incessantly often dilute the power of their own words. If someone speaks without pause, their audience will eventually stop paying attention. The more words a person uses, the less impact each individual word carries. People may begin to tune out, waiting for a chance to speak rather than truly engaging in the conversation. This can make the speaker feel unappreciated or unheard, leading them to talk even more in an attempt to regain attention, creating a cycle of frustration for both parties. Another problem with excessive talking is that it often stems from a lack of confidence rather than an abundance of knowledge. Some people fill silences because they are uncomfortable with them. They fear that if they stop talking, they will lose control of the interaction or appear uninteresting. However, true confidence does not come from dominating conversations, but from being comfortable with silence and allowing others to contribute. Those who are secure in themselves do not feel the need to force their presence into every discussion. They understand that silence can be powerful and that allowing others to speak does not diminish their own importance. In professional settings, talking more than listening can be particularly damaging. Leaders, managers, and team members who fail to listen miss critical details, ignore valuable input, and make decisions based on incomplete information. This can lead to mistakes, inefficiencies, and a loss of trust from colleagues. Employees respect leaders who take the time to understand different perspectives and make informed decisions. A leader who talks more than they listen may appear dismissive or disconnected, causing disengagement among their team. In personal relationships, excessive talking can lead to frustration and emotional distance. Friends, partners, and family members want to feel heard and understood. When one person constantly dominates conversations, It creates an imbalance where the needs and thoughts of others are overlooked. Over time, this can lead to strained relationships, as people begin to feel that their voice does not matter. Meaningful connections are built on mutual understanding, which requires active listening. The ability to listen more than one speaks is a skill that requires conscious effort. It involves resisting the urge to interrupt, giving full attention to others, and responding with thoughtful consideration. This practice fosters deeper connections, earns respect, and allows for greater personal growth. Those who master the art of listening not only gain the respect of others, but also develop a clearer understanding of the world around them. Keeping promises and commitments is one of the most fundamental ways to earn and maintain respect. When people trust you to follow through on your word, they see you as reliable, honorable, and strong in character. However, when promises are repeatedly broken, it erodes trust and damages relationships, sometimes beyond repair. The ability to keep one's word is not just a sign of responsibility, it reflects discipline, self-control, and respect for others. Those who fail in this area often find themselves struggling to gain the confidence of others, and over time their reputation suffers significantly. Breaking promises, whether small or significant, has a profound impact on how people perceive you. The first time someone fails to keep their word, it may be forgiven as a mistake. However, repeated failures create a pattern that people begin to recognize. When someone constantly makes commitments but does not honor them, others stop taking their words seriously. Their promises become empty, and people learn not to rely on them. This can happen in both personal and professional settings. Whether it is a friend who constantly cancels plans at the last minute, a colleague who never delivers on deadlines, or a leader who makes grand promises but fails to act, the effect is the same: people lose faith in their reliability. One of the main reasons people break promises is that they commit to things without fully considering whether they can fulfill them. In an effort to please others or avoid confrontation, they agree to things they are not prepared to do. While this may seem like an easy way to keep people happy in the short term, it ultimately causes more harm. When someone makes a promise, others build expectations around it. They plan their actions, make arrangements, and trust that the commitment will be honored. When that promise is broken, it not only creates disappointment but also disrupts plans and causes unnecessary frustration. Over time, this leads to resentment and a loss of credibility. Another common reason people fail to keep their word is a lack of discipline. Honoring commitments requires effort, planning, and sometimes personal sacrifice. It is easy to make a promise when the moment feels right, but following through requires consistency and integrity. Many people fail because they underestimate the effort needed to fulfill their commitments, or because they allow distractions and other priorities to take precedence. In these cases, promises are broken not because of bad intentions but because of poor time management and a lack of personal accountability. In professional environments, breaking commitments can have serious consequences. Business trust is everything. If an employee continually fails to meet deadlines or follow through on their responsibilities, their reputation suffers and opportunities begin to disappear. Employers and colleagues value those who can be depended upon. A worker who does not honor their commitments will find themselves overlooked for promotions, excluded from important projects, or even dismissed from their job. The same applies to business owners and leaders. Customers, employees, and investors need to have confidence that commitments will be upheld. When a leader makes a promise but fails to deliver, it not only damages their own credibility, but also affects the trust people have in the entire organization. In personal relationships, broken promises can be even more damaging. Relationships are built on trust, and every broken commitment weakens that foundation. When a person constantly fails to keep their word, their friends, family, and partners begin to doubt their sincerity. This can lead to feelings of betrayal and emotional distance. Even small promises, like showing up on time or remembering important dates, play a role in demonstrating reliability. When these commitments are not honored, they accumulate and create the impression that the person does not truly care. One of the most serious forms of breaking promises occurs when someone repeatedly reassures others but never changes their behavior. Apologies and explanations may be accepted initially, but if the same pattern continues, words lose their value. People stop believing in second chances when they realize that promises are just empty words. At this point, rebuilding trust becomes extremely difficult. Once someone is known for being unreliable, others may never fully trust them again, even if they later change their ways. Some people break commitments because they fear confrontation or disappointing others. They make promises in an attempt to avoid difficult conversations, thinking that it is easier to say yes in the moment rather than explain why they cannot commit. However, avoiding discomfort by making empty promises only leads to greater disappointment later. It is far better to be honest from the start than to create false expectations. People respect honesty, even if it means hearing something they do not want to hear. A person who truthfully says they cannot commit to something earns more respect than someone who says yes, but fails to follow through. Another harmful effect of breaking promises is that it weakens a person's own sense of self-discipline. Each time someone fails to honor their word, they reinforce a habit of inconsistency. They begin to see commitments as flexible rather than firm. Over time, this erodes their own confidence in themselves. A person who repeatedly fails to keep their word may start to feel unreliable even in their own eyes, making it even harder to change. This lack of self-trust can spread to other areas of life, affecting motivation, self-esteem, and overall personal growth. A key difference between respected individuals and those who struggle to earn trust is how they treat their commitments. Respected individuals do not make promises lightly. They carefully consider their words before making a commitment and ensure that they follow through. When they cannot fulfill a promise, they communicate openly and take responsibility rather than making excuses. They understand that trust is not built through perfect actions, but through consistent effort and accountability. While everyone occasionally fails to keep a commitment due to unforeseen circumstances, it is the pattern of behavior that defines a person's reliability. One broken promise may be forgivable, but when breaking commitments becomes a habit, it signals a deeper issue of carelessness, dishonesty, or lack of discipline. To maintain respect, it is essential to treat commitments with seriousness. Keeping promises is not just about meeting expectations, it is about showing integrity, respecting others' time, and proving that one's words have meaning. Seeking validation from others is a habit that slowly erodes self-respect and weakens personal growth. When people constantly look for approval, they rely on external sources to define their worth rather than developing confidence from within. This need for validation often stems from insecurity, fear of rejection, or a deep desire to be accepted by others. However, the more a person depends on external approval, the more they lose control over their own life. Instead of making decisions based on their values and beliefs, they adjust their actions to please others, often at the cost of their own happiness and authenticity. One of the biggest problems with constantly seeking validation is that it creates an endless cycle. No matter how much approval a person receives, it is never enough. There will always be someone who disapproves, unbites or expects more. When self-worth is based on external opinions, a person is left in a vulnerable state, where their emotions and confidence fluctuate depending on how others perceive them. This leads to anxiety, self-doubt, and an inability to trust one's own judgment. Instead of feeling secure in their choices, they become dependent on reassurance from others to feel good about themselves. People who seek validation excessively often struggle with decision-making. They hesitate, second-guess themselves, and constantly look for others to confirm that they are making the right choice. This not only slows down their progress but also prevents them from developing a strong sense of independence. When a person cannot make decisions without approval, they become easy to manipulate. Others may take advantage of this weakness by influencing their choices, making them act in ways that do not align with their true beliefs or desires. True confidence comes from making decisions based on one's values, even if others do not always agree. The need for validation is particularly damaging in personal relationships. When someone constantly seeks approval, they may become overly agreeable, avoiding conflict at all costs. They suppress their true thoughts and feelings to maintain harmony, believing that disagreement will lead to rejection. However, this behavior often has the opposite effect. People respect those who are authentic and have their own opinions, not those who always conform to others. Over time, those who seek validation too much may find that their relationships feel unbalanced or unfulfilling because they are not being their true selves. Social media has amplified the problem of seeking validation. Many people measure their self-worth by the number of likes, comments, or followers they receive. They create content not because they truly enjoy it, but because they want approval from an online audience. This reliance on digital validation can be harmful because it creates unrealistic expectations. If a post does not receive enough engagement, the person may feel inadequate or rejected, even though social media approval is often shallow and temporary. The more someone depends on external validation, the more they distance themselves from their authentic identity. In professional settings, constantly seeking approval can limit career growth. People who crave validation may hesitate to take risks, fearing failure or criticism. They may avoid speaking up in meetings, hold back innovative ideas, or refuse to take leadership roles because they are afraid of making mistakes. However, true success comes from the ability to act with confidence and accept that not everyone will approve. Those who are respected in the workplace are often the ones who stand by their decisions and trust their abilities, rather than seeking constant reassurance from colleagues or supervisors. Another issue with seeking validation is that it weakens resilience. When people rely on external approval, they struggle to handle criticism or failure. A single negative comment can shake their confidence, making them feel inadequate or unworthy. However, failure and criticism are natural parts of life and necessary for growth. Those who do not depend on validation understand that setbacks do not define their worth. Instead of breaking down when they face disapproval, they use it as an opportunity to learn and improve. The desire for validation often leads to people-pleasing behavior. Those who constantly seek approval may say yes to things they do not want to do, simply because they fear disappointing others. They may take on extra work, agree to social plans they are not interested in, or tolerate behavior that makes them uncomfortable. Over time, this leads to burnout and resentment. When people prioritize external validation over their own well-being, they sacrifice their happiness and personal boundaries. True self-respect comes from the ability to say no without feeling guilty. One of the biggest misconceptions about validation is that it equals love or acceptance. Many people believe that if they gain approval from others, they will feel valued and appreciated. However, genuine respect and love come from being authentic, not from constantly trying to meet others' expectations. When someone stops seeking validation, they allow people to see them for who they truly are, which strengthens relationships and attracts those who appreciate them for their real qualities. It is important to recognize that seeking validation is not entirely negative. Everyone desires some level of approval, as humans are naturally social beings. However, the problem arises when this need becomes excessive and dictates a person's self-worth. The key is to find a balance valuing feedback and opinions without allowing them to control one's decisions or emotions. People who develop strong self-worth understand that external approval is temporary, but inner confidence is lasting. The journey toward breaking free from the need for validation requires self-awareness and practice. It involves recognizing the moments when approval-seeking behavior occurs and actively challenging the thought patterns behind it. Instead of immediately seeking reassurance, one can take a step back and ask themselves whether they truly need others' approval, or if they already know the right choice. Over time, this strengthens self-trust and reduces the dependency on external opinions. Another way to overcome validation seeking is to focus on personal values. When people align their actions with their core beliefs, they gain confidence in their decisions. Instead of worrying about what others think, they measure their success by how well they stay true to themselves. This shift in mindset allows them to make choices that bring genuine fulfillment rather than temporary approval. Building self-confidence also requires stepping out of the comfort zone. Many people seek validation because they fear judgment. However, facing these fears directly can help break the habit. Whether it is speaking up in a group, making an independent decision, or expressing an unpopular opinion, each small act of self-assertion builds resilience. Over time, these experiences prove that self-worth does not depend on others' approval. Another important step is to limit exposure to sources that encourage validation-seeking behavior. Social media, for example, often reinforces the habit of seeking approval through likes and comments. Taking breaks from these platforms or using them with awareness can help reduce the need for external validation. Instead of posting for approval, one can focus on creating or sharing content that is personally meaningful. Surrounding oneself with people who support authenticity rather than just approval is also crucial. Those who constantly seek validation may be influenced by relationships that encourage people-pleasing behavior. Choosing to spend time with individuals who respect independence and self-confidence can reinforce the importance of valuing one's own opinions over external approval. Breaking free from the need for validation is not about ignoring others' opinions entirely. Feedback and advice can be valuable, but they should not dictate self-worth. The goal is to develop an inner sense of confidence that remains stable regardless of external approval. When people stop seeking validation, they gain freedom, the freedom to be themselves, make bold decisions, and live authentically without fear of judgment. Mastering emotions is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop. Emotions influence every aspect of life, from decision-making to relationships and personal well-being. Those who allow their emotions to control them often find themselves reacting impulsively, making poor choices, and experiencing unnecessary stress. On the other hand, individuals who learn to master their emotions gain greater control over their actions, maintain a sense of inner peace, and earn the respect of others. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings but about understanding, managing, and using them effectively. One of the first steps in mastering emotions is developing self-awareness. Many people go through life reacting to their emotions without fully understanding them. They may feel angry, sad, anxious, or frustrated without knowing why. Without awareness, emotions can dictate behavior in ways that lead to regret. By paying attention to emotional triggers and patterns, individuals can recognize the root causes of their feelings. This awareness allows them to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When people understand their emotions, they can work on managing them rather than being controlled by them. Another key aspect of emotional mastery is learning to pause before responding. Many problems arise when people react instantly to their emotions without thinking. Anger, frustration, and fear often lead to hasty words or actions that can damage relationships or create unnecessary conflict. Taking a moment to breathe, reflect, and assess the situation helps in making better decisions. The ability to pause creates space between emotion and action, allowing for a more rational and measured response. Those who can control their immediate reactions demonstrate emotional intelligence and earn respect from others. Regulating emotions also involves managing thoughts. Thoughts and emotions are closely connected, and negative thinking patterns can lead to emotional instability. When people dwell on negative experiences, assume the worst, or overanalyze situations, they create unnecessary emotional distress. Reframing negative thoughts into more constructive perspectives can reduce emotional suffering. Instead of seeing a setback as a failure, viewing it as a learning opportunity helps in maintaining emotional balance. The way a person thinks about a situation determines how they feel about it, making thought management an essential part of emotional mastery. Another important element in mastering emotions is understanding the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is immediate, driven purely by emotion, and often lacks thought. A response, however, is deliberate and considers both logic and emotion. For example, if someone insults or criticizes, an emotional reaction may be to retaliate with anger or defensiveness. A controlled response, however, would involve assessing the comment, deciding whether it is worth addressing, and responding in a calm and thoughtful manner. The ability to respond rather than react is a sign of emotional strength and self-control. One of the biggest obstacles to emotional mastery is allowing external circumstances to dictate internal well-being. Many people believe that their emotions are controlled by outside events, such as how others treat them, the challenges they face, or unexpected difficulties. While external events can trigger emotions, the way people choose to interpret and respond to them is entirely within their control. Two people can experience the same situation but have completely different emotional responses based on their mindset. Those who master their emotions recognize that they have the power to choose their reactions rather than being at the mercy of circumstances. Practicing emotional detachment in certain situations is also useful. Detachment does not mean indifference or lack of care, but rather the ability to observe emotions without being overwhelmed by them. When people become too emotionally involved in every situation, they may feel drained, stressed, or overly reactive. Detachment allows for a clearer perspective, enabling individuals to approach situations with logic and balance. It helps in making rational decisions rather than being swept away by emotions. Developing emotional resilience is another essential part of mastering emotions. Life is filled with challenges, disappointments, and unexpected changes. Those who are emotionally fragile may struggle with setbacks, allowing difficulties to dictate their mood and self-esteem. Emotional resilience means being able to face adversity without breaking down. It involves accepting that difficulties are a natural part of life and focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. When emotions are managed effectively, setbacks become temporary obstacles rather than overwhelming defeats. Another powerful tool for emotional mastery is self-discipline. Many emotional outbursts or impulsive behaviors stem from a lack of control over desires and urges. Whether it is reacting angrily, indulging in unhealthy habits, or making rash decisions, self-discipline helps in regulating emotional impulses. Developing habits of patience, restraint, and delayed gratification strengthens emotional control. Those who can resist reacting immediately to emotional triggers demonstrate a high level of maturity and self-awareness. Mastering emotions also requires managing expectations. Many people experience frustration and disappointment because they expect others or situations to behave in a certain way. When reality does not match these expectations, emotions spiral out of control. Accepting that things will not always go as planned and that people may not always act as expected reduces emotional distress. Adjusting expectations to align with reality helps in maintaining emotional stability and reducing unnecessary frustration. Self-care plays a significant role in emotional management as well. Poor physical health, lack of sleep, and chronic stress contribute to emotional instability. When the body is neglected, emotions become harder to control. Exercise, proper nutrition, rest, and relaxation all contribute to emotional balance. Taking time for personal well-being strengthens the mind's ability to handle stress and maintain a calm state, even in difficult situations. A strong foundation of self-care supports emotional resilience. Another effective way to master emotions is to develop healthy emotional outlets. Suppressing emotions completely is not beneficial, as unexpressed feelings can build up and lead to greater problems. Finding constructive ways to process emotions such as journaling, meditation, physical activity, or creative expression helps in managing them in a healthy way. Having a trusted friend, mentor, or therapist to talk to can also provide perspective and guidance in emotional regulation. Gratitude is another tool that contributes to emotional mastery. When people focus on what they lack, they feel frustrated, envious, or dissatisfied. However, shifting focus to what is already present and appreciated helps in maintaining a positive emotional state. Gratitude reduces negative emotions by promoting a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. When individuals practice gratitude regularly, they build emotional strength and stability, making them less affected by temporary emotional disturbances. Finally, mastering emotions requires consistency and practice. Emotional control is not something that happens overnight. It is developed through continuous effort. Small daily habits such as mindfulness, deep breathing, practicing patience, and reflecting on emotional responses help in strengthening emotional regulation over time. Those who commit to emotional mastery gradually develop a sense of inner calm, confidence, and self-control. People who master their emotions are not free from feeling anger, sadness, or frustration. Rather, they have learned how to handle these emotions effectively. They do not let emotions dictate their actions, but instead use them as tools for growth and understanding. When emotions are managed well, individuals gain the ability to navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. This emotional strength leads to greater personal success, healthier relationships, and an overall sense of balance and fulfillment. Avoiding gossip is an essential practice for maintaining integrity, earning respect, and fostering a positive environment in both personal and professional relationships. Gossip may seem harmless at first, often disguised as casual conversation or sharing information, but it has far-reaching consequences. It erodes trust, damages reputations, and creates negativity that can be difficult to undo. Those who engage in gossip may not realize the impact of their words, but over time this habit leads to a toxic atmosphere and diminished credibility. Choosing to avoid gossip is not just about avoiding trouble, It is about demonstrating self-discipline, wisdom, and strength of character. One of the most damaging aspects of gossip is that it breaks trust. When someone shares information about another person behind their back, it signals to others that they cannot be trusted with sensitive or personal matters. People who frequently gossip may find that others hesitate to confide in them, fearing that their words will be twisted or shared without permission. Trust is one of the most valuable aspects of any relationship, and once it is broken, it is extremely difficult to rebuild. Avoiding gossip helps maintain strong, trustworthy relationships where people feel safe to share their thoughts without fear of betrayal. Gossip also has the power to damage reputations, both for the person being talked about and the person doing the gossiping. When false or exaggerated information spreads, it can harm someone's image unfairly. Even if the gossip is based on truth, sharing personal details or private matters without consent is disrespectful. The person spreading the gossip may believe they are simply passing on information, but in reality they are contributing to a culture of negativity. Moreover, those who gossip frequently may not realize that their own reputation is also being affected. People take note of who constantly spreads rumors and may distance themselves from someone who seems to thrive on tearing others down. Another major issue with gossip is that it creates a toxic environment. Whether in the workplace, social circles, or family settings, gossip fosters division and distrust. It can lead to unnecessary drama, misunderstandings, and resentment among people who might otherwise get along. In professional settings, gossip can lower morale, reduce productivity, and even harm career growth. Employees who engage in gossip may create unnecessary conflicts that disrupt teamwork and collaboration. Managers and leaders who avoid gossip set an example of professionalism and integrity, encouraging a culture where people communicate directly and respectfully rather than through whispers and rumors. Gossip is often fueled by insecurity and the need for validation. People who feel uncertain about their own worth may gossip about others as a way to gain attention or feel superior. Spreading information about someone else's struggles, mistakes, or flaws can temporarily boost the gossiper's sense of importance. However, this false sense of superiority is short-lived and ultimately destructive. A truly confident person does not need to put others down to feel good about themselves. Instead, they focus on self-improvement, personal growth, and uplifting those around them. Avoiding gossip is a sign of emotional maturity and confidence in one's own worth. Choosing not to gossip also means respecting others' privacy. Everyone has personal challenges, mistakes, and vulnerabilities that they do not want broadcasted to the world. Sharing someone else's private affairs without their permission is a violation of their dignity. Even if the information seems insignificant, it is not the gossiper's place to decide what should be shared. A respectful person understands that just because they know something does not mean they have the right to spread it. If someone trusts you with personal information, it is a responsibility, not an opportunity for gossip. Avoiding gossip requires self-discipline and mindfulness. In many social situations, gossip is a common form of conversation, making it easy to get drawn in. It often begins with innocent curiosity or a simple discussion about someone's actions, but it can quickly turn into harmful speculation and judgment. One of the best ways to avoid gossip is to be mindful of conversations and recognize when they are heading in a negative direction. If a discussion starts to shift toward gossip, redirecting the topic or choosing to stay silent can prevent further harm. Walking away from gossip sends a clear message that you do not engage in negative talk. Surrounding oneself with people who value integrity also makes it easier to avoid gossip. If a social circle is filled with individuals who frequently engage in gossip, it may be time to reconsider those associations. People who consistently speak negatively about others are likely to do the same when you are not around. Choosing to be around those who uplift and support each other creates a more positive and encouraging environment. Strong relationships are built on trust, respect, and kindness rather than tearing others down. Another effective way to avoid gossip is to practice direct communication. Many times gossip arises from misunderstandings or unspoken frustrations. Instead of talking about someone behind their back, addressing concerns directly with them fosters honesty and resolution. If a conflict exists, discussing it openly with the person involved is far more productive than spreading rumors or assumptions. Direct and respectful communication not only prevents gossip but also strengthens relationships and builds mutual respect. Focusing on personal growth and meaningful conversations helps eliminate the desire to engage in gossip. Those who are busy improving themselves, working toward their goals, and engaging in constructive discussions do not have time to dwell on the personal lives of others. When conversations are centered around ideas, aspirations, and positive developments, there is little room for gossip. Elevating discussions to meaningful and uplifting topics not only benefits personal growth, but also attracts like-minded individuals who value integrity and wisdom. It is also important to recognize that words have power. What is said about others has the potential to influence their lives in ways that may never be fully understood. A careless comment can lead to hurt feelings, damaged relationships, or even serious consequences. Choosing words carefully and speaking with kindness is a reflection of character. Those who are mindful of their speech demonstrate emotional intelligence and self-control. By refusing to participate in gossip, individuals contribute to a culture of respect and dignity. Ultimately, avoiding gossip is about choosing integrity over momentary entertainment or social acceptance. It is easy to fall into the trap of gossiping, especially when it feels like a way to bond with others. However, true respect and strong relationships are built on honesty, trust, and encouragement. When a person makes the conscious decision to step away from gossip, they set themselves apart as someone who values character and authenticity. Over time, this commitment to integrity leads to stronger, more meaningful connections and a life free from the unnecessary negativity that gossip creates. Continuous self-improvement is a lifelong journey that requires dedication, self-awareness, and the willingness to grow beyond current limitations. It is not about achieving perfection, but about consistently striving to be better than yesterday. Those who commit to self-improvement develop resilience, discipline, and a mindset focused on progress rather than stagnation. Growth does not happen by chance. It requires conscious effort and a commitment to learning, adapting, and refining skills, habits, and perspectives. One of the key aspects of self-improvement is self-awareness. Many people go through life unaware of their strengths, weaknesses, and potential. Without self-awareness, improvement is impossible because there is no clear understanding of what needs to change. Taking time to reflect on personal habits, thought patterns, and behaviors allows individuals to identify areas that require growth. Self-awareness also involves recognizing self-limiting beliefs and overcoming the mental barriers that hold people back from reaching their full potential. By acknowledging areas that need work, individuals can take deliberate steps toward meaningful improvement. Another essential element of self-improvement is setting goals. Without clear objectives, progress can be slow and directionless. Goals provide motivation, focus, and a sense of purpose. They serve as a roadmap that guides personal development. Whether it is improving a skill, building better habits, or enhancing physical and mental well-being, having specific and measurable goals makes it easier to track progress. The most effective goals are realistic yet challenging, pushing individuals to step outside their comfort zones while remaining achievable. Breaking larger goals into smaller, manageable steps increases the likelihood of success and prevents feelings of overwhelm. One of the most powerful ways to improve continuously is through learning. Knowledge expands possibilities, enhances problem-solving abilities, and opens doors to new opportunities. Lifelong learners understand that there is always more to discover, regardless of how much they already know. Reading books, taking courses, seeking mentorship, and staying curious are all ways to cultivate personal and intellectual growth. Those who prioritize learning are better equipped to adapt to change, make informed decisions, and approach life with a growth-oriented mindset. Developing discipline is another crucial part of self-improvement. Many people struggle to maintain consistency in their efforts because they rely solely on motivation, which is temporary. Discipline, on the other hand, ensures that progress continues even when motivation fades. Establishing daily routines, setting priorities, and committing to consistent effort are key to achieving long-term improvement. Discipline requires pushing through resistance, overcoming distractions, and staying committed to personal development even when progress feels slow. Those who master discipline are able to build lasting habits that contribute to continuous growth. Improvement also requires embracing discomfort. Growth does not happen in comfort zones. It happens when individuals push themselves beyond what feels easy or familiar. Facing challenges, taking risks, and stepping into the unknown are necessary for self-improvement. Discomfort often comes in the form of failure, criticism, or uncertainty, but those who view these experiences as opportunities for learning rather than setbacks develop resilience. Instead of avoiding difficult situations, they approach them with a mindset of curiosity and determination, knowing that every challenge presents a chance to grow stronger. Surrounding oneself with the right influences is also a vital aspect of self-improvement. The people in one's life have a significant impact on mindset, habits, and overall growth. Negative influences can drain energy, reinforce limiting beliefs, and discourage progress, while positive and growth-minded individuals inspire, challenge, and support personal development. Seeking out mentors, role models, and friends who encourage self-improvement creates an environment that fosters success. Engaging with people who share a similar commitment to growth provides motivation and accountability. Physical and mental well-being play a significant role in continuous self-improvement. Without a healthy body and mind, progress in other areas becomes difficult. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and sufficient rest contribute to higher energy levels, better focus, and increased resilience. Mental well-being is equally important and can be cultivated through mindfulness, stress management, and maintaining a positive outlook. A strong mind and body provide the foundation for sustained improvement and the ability to handle life's challenges effectively. Another key component of self-improvement is taking responsibility. Many people blame external factors for their lack of progress, but those committed to growth understand that improvement starts from within. Taking ownership of actions, choices, and results empowers individuals to make necessary changes. Instead of waiting for circumstances to improve, they actively work toward becoming better versions of themselves. Responsibility fosters self-reliance and ensures that progress is not dependent on external validation or conditions. Practicing self-reflection is also essential for continuous improvement. Regularly evaluating progress, identifying areas of success, and recognizing areas that need adjustment helps maintain momentum. Reflection provides valuable insights into what is working and what needs to change. It allows individuals to celebrate small wins, learn from mistakes, and refine their approach. Without self-reflection, improvement efforts can become directionless and ineffective. Taking time to assess growth ensures that efforts remain purposeful and aligned with long-term aspirations. Another important aspect of self-improvement is adaptability. The ability to embrace change, adjust to new circumstances, and remain open to new ideas is crucial for growth. Many people resist change because it feels uncomfortable, but those who welcome it see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Life is unpredictable, and the ability to adapt ensures that progress continues regardless of external circumstances. Flexibility allows for continuous learning and improvement, even when faced with unexpected challenges. Self-improvement also involves developing emotional intelligence. The ability to manage emotions, understand others, and build strong relationships contributes to personal and professional success. Emotional intelligence includes self-awareness, empathy, effective communication, and conflict resolution. People who work on improving their emotional intelligence build deeper connections, handle stress more effectively, and navigate social interactions with confidence. Emotional growth is just as important as intellectual and physical growth in the journey of self-improvement. Finally, consistency is the key to lasting self-improvement. Many people start with enthusiasm but struggle to maintain progress over time. The most successful individuals understand that growth is a continuous process that requires sustained effort. Small, consistent actions lead to significant results over time. Whether it is developing a new skill, building better habits, or improving mental and physical health, consistent effort ensures steady progress. Those who commit to lifelong self-improvement recognize that success is not achieved overnight, but through persistent dedication to becoming better every day. Continuous self-improvement is not a destination but a journey, one that requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to push beyond limitations. True growth comes from consistent effort, learning from setbacks, and embracing the discomfort that leads to transformation. By taking responsibility for our progress, surrounding ourselves with positive influences, and maintaining a mindset of resilience, we pave the way for a more fulfilling and meaningful life. The commitment to becoming a better version of ourselves each day is the foundation for success, happiness, and lasting impact. The journey may be challenging, but every step forward brings us closer to our fullest potential. Keep striving, keep learning, and never stop growing.